The Game Awards took place last night, and honestly, it was a pretty decent show. Now, the criticisms out of the way, first and foremost, it was a long show, chock full of announcements. And here's the thing, right? Like, there were a lot of games that actually look really good, and the fact that they're coming out in fairly quick succession outside of a couple of announcements, most of the games, if they had a release window attached to them, are coming out next year. So that's one big thing that the industry has definitely learned. Stop with these protracted cycles. Stop with announcing something that'll eventually come out, I don't know, in a couple of years or something like that. No. If you're going to get people hyped about your game, you better be able to deliver it in reasonably short order. And that's what I immediately noticed. And then outside of that, when you started to look at a bunch of the different announcements, we're kind of at the end of a cycle. What do I mean by that? The types of games that we're seeing, not really a bunch. Outside of a couple of notable exceptions, not a whole lot of DEIing, not a whole lot of Netflixing your favorite characters anymore. If they're reviving a franchise, it's actually looking to stay true to the actual franchise, but we'll get to that in due time, because at the end of the day, it's a Game Awards. It's supposed to be about the awards, and honestly, Astrobot, Sony in general, had a very, very productive night, because Astrobot, everything that it was nominated for, I'm pretty sure everything that it was nominated for, it ended up winning, which is a fantastic thing, because it's a little platformer. Okay, it was made by a little studio. I'm pretty sure it was that team's very first game. It was a budget title, which, I've seen gameplay of it, and it looks damn good. Do I think that it's Game of the Year worthy? Well, I mean, there's another game that's up there that, I sing the praises of on a daily basis. But, hey, I'm not butthurt about that. Nope, not at all whatsoever. Nope, of course not. But Astrobot is, in fact, a very deserving winner. It appeals to me more. It's definitely on that list of contenders. It appeals to me more than Silent Hill, Black Myth Wukong, Balatro, one other that it doesn't. But I'll probably check it out when it goes on sale. But all things considered, I'm not mad, and as far as I can tell, not a lot of people are upset by that choice. But speaking about the Game Awards in general, before we get to the awards and some of the announcements that were out there, the presentation of the show, boy, it was snappy, okay? Because there was a few years there where I wasn't really paying attention to that, but especially in contrasting with last year, there was a lot of unfunny gags, okay? This time around, they had Statler and Waldorf like they had the Muppets. It's like, okay, we kind of know what audience is going to be tuning into this, especially the demographics of that, so I guess they're going to be aware of what the Muppets are. But if you're trying to aim for a younger demographic, it's like, why would you go with the Muppets of all things? But still, even though they were scripted and fake edgy stuff, taking the piss out of the show, it's not that bad, okay? It wasn't nearly as cringe as having Gonzo up there like they did last year. Comparing and contrasting it with last year is night and day different, because there wasn't this self-aggrandizing, we have a world premiere, mostly because if they would have ran that buzzer FRUD of every trailer that they had that announced the game, holy crap, this thing would still be going at the time that you watch this, not at the time that we're recording, because holy crap, man, it was a fast and furious presentation. Most of the awards, I think a half dozen of them actually got a proper on-stage, here's your award, make your acceptance speech, and then we'll go ahead and usher you off stage. There was, 2 musical sections, as opposed to the regular half dozen ass-slapping, self-indulgent, pretentious performances. No, it was all basically focused on games and doing the most with the time allotted. But here's the thing, it was the 10th year anniversary, and you would think something this monumental in the gaming space with gaming, keep being told time and time again, it's the biggest entertainment medium that's out there. But they would do very few cutaway shots to the actual audience, mostly because that theater, the old Kodak Theater, what do they call it now? The Peacock Theater? Ugh. Atrocious naming. It was about half full, bro. Like, especially for the pre-show right there, you could see in the background. Like, I don't know whether they have a half-hour pre-show to like a 2-hour ad read. It's a little weird, but you could see behind the lady presenting all of the different commercials that there were far more empty seats than people actually there, because the only ones that are there are the same ones. Very funny that it's so hypocritical. You have all of these industry types that are out there that were out there advocating for the cancellation of winners on the night, like Black Myth Wukong, or studios that just go out there and create good games and don't need to force their little pet project ideologies into it, like Astrobot. And then you have the biggest shill to ever shill, and you'll wonder why they give so many milquetoast answers is because, hey guys, we're going to be in this big brand new game that's coming out next year. The likes of Alana, Your Child is a Situational Disability Pierce. One of the Game Awards staff producers is low-key passive-aggressively telling people in my section that they have to give standing ovations, because that's what was very interesting and quite noticeable if you have a keen ear, somebody who used to watch wrestling. I mean, you're going to have a better sense, you're going to have a better understanding into what is happening with the wider entertainment world if you were a wrestling fan back in the cut when I was, because you've seen everything play out there the same way that you are now in the likes of Hollywood. There's no stars. Yeah, perfect. We see how they have to rely on legacy brands like they did with wrestling because they put all of their chips in the John Cena basket, but that didn't end up really coming to fruition. Ergo, why they had to run back, retro Raw and bring back all of the legends on a consistent basis. Kind of like what's happening with Hollywood. And it's funny crossover there because one of the first surprise guest announcements at the Game Awards was shambling asshole Harrison Ford, who just mumble-fucked his way through his little award announcements. I'm here for, this Troy Baker guy. He did really good at the Indiana Jones. And why am I here? What award am I giving out? I don't care. But all of the applause had a very uniform aspect to it. It didn't really seem to rise or lower for anything. It was all just something you could mistake for what is equivalent to a sitcom laugh track. But the fact that, you have all of these paid hacks, right? Alana Pierce, who used to work for IGN, who now works for Santa Monica Studios, giving us all a peek behind the curtain. And no, we don't actually have to pay extra for that for one of her membership locked sites. That the 16 people in the audience were being told that they had to be a little bit more enthusiastic than they may well otherwise not be. Interesting. But she wanted to let everybody know that, okay, even though she is being put upon, I'm still in the preferred section. It also isn't a fan section or anything. I'm next to Sony team, and Joseph Ferris and Sam Lake is right behind me. Weird. See, I know people in the industry. Well, that's great, because for the amount of announcements that were out there, nobody really cares who you're next to right now, because they might be out of a job the next time an award ceremony like this happens, or at least at a venue of this size. You might be lucky to get into those fan sections, you untalented, braggadocious hack. But of the many announcements that were there was one that I thought was very interesting, and I got a Game of Thrones related video that's coming out, I think Sunday or something like that, but stay tuned for that. It's in regards to the books, and well, the update isn't really all that enthusiastic, but for people who are fans of Game of Thrones, well, it kind of looks like, especially from the trailer that was provided, they're kind of redoing Season 8, at least in so much as where I think the setting is, because Cersei is on the throne. The wall, at least as it's being depicted, is still standing. There are dragons coming down on King's Landing. Jaime's got that white jacket, and he's also missing his hand. They're talking about White Walkers. I'm thinking that this is late Season 7, early Season 8, because isn't that when... God, I can't quite remember when Cersei crowns herself. Is that at the end of Season 6? But regardless, they're getting rid of the two worst seasons, okay? Where at least there's some things that you can praise. Some of the cinematography from Season 6. Oh, the Battle of the Bastards, it all looks so good and all that stuff. It was retarded military practice to begin with, and all of that writing was AIDS. But the way that they're setting this, and it looks like they're going to be trying to do an end with an insert character that you can see right here, is not very DEI friendly. I mean, the game could be pretty good. It looks like it could be pretty good, but as for the major announcements, I mean, we got Witcher 4, and we got it confirmed that, Ciri's going to be in there, and Geralt's going to be sidelined. Ooh, that's an interesting one. But the trailer itself, I mean, it was just a movie. It was a 6-minute long movie, no gameplay, no real idea to what the story is going to be. It was just one simple little protagonist about, I don't know, maybe some sort of Viking sacrifice of a virgin. And then ultimately, Ciri does some alchemy, goofy jumps, heats up a chain and kills a spider, only to come back and go, oh my god, they actually sacrificed her because they're all barbarians. And it's like, it's CD Projekt Red. We've seen the stuff behind the scenes on that one. I'm not going to get enthusiastic about that. If I want to dive into the Witcher canon, I'll go check out 3 all in due time. I'm just saying, it's a decent trailer. They're just really, really gonna have to do a good job at dissuading me that they aren't anything but a bunch of subversionist hacks, which isn't what the final big announcement of the show could provide, and that's Naughty Dog. Oh, Naughty Dog's actually doing something new and unique. Oh, well, at least when it comes to the IP that they're going to be launching, like Intergalactic, the Heretic. It's like, okay, cool. Whole bunch of product placement. I mean, the starship is Porsche. It's got Porsche branding on it. But yeah, you've got a bald girl boss, and bro, the moment I seen that and Naughty Dog, I was totally checked out, because it had this kind of 80s sci-fi aesthetic to the trailer that looked interesting enough, but the moment that you seen somebody, I thought it was Jack, because the moment that it started up, it kind of looked like it had the potential of being Mass Effect 5. I was like, okay, I could totally believe that, because yeah, there was a chick in the mirror, you know, shaving her head, and Jack, oh no, I guess in 3 she does have that middle part, but anyways, that's what I immediately hopped to. But no, it's just Neil Cuckman getting to do his Neil Cuckman things, and that's going to be a hard pass from me, because also, oh yeah, hey guys, if you're enthusiastic about this, and I know I am, especially when it comes to reporting on the Steam numbers, Last of Us Part 2 is finally coming to PC. Oh, it's going to be coming to PC next year. Oh, it's so wonderful. It's so fantastic. But there were so many other announcements that were in there, like Onimusha's coming back. When I seen that announced, like, holy shit, that really unlocked a core memory for me, because back in the PS2 generation, when it come to go, yeah, especially came to a weekend, okay, and you were going down to the movie store to rent a game. One of those games I would constantly go back to, man, it was definitely Onimusha 1 and Onimusha 3. It's been a long time since we've had one of them. I don't know, I don't think that there was a PS3 Onimusha. And Capcom, man, if they can deliver with Monster Hunter Wilds, I mean, if they're going to be doing a bastardized, they're going to be running back their own version of a Souls-like game, that could be one where I hop in on, because I love Onimusha. It's one that I don't talk about, mostly because it's been dead for so long. Capcom hopping in on this whole, okay, yeah, we see the enthusiasm around the whole samurai feudal Japan aesthetic. Yeah, we got an IP in the back that we can go ahead and run back right now. So yeah, if they're gonna hop in and they're gonna show Sucker Punch that, oh yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put a Japanese guy in feudal Japan, big shock that one's gonna be successful, and then, oh yeah, take another swipe at Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean, you got my attention. But that's one of those few games that I think got a 2026 release date, mostly because they kind of want to dedicate the entire year to Monster Hunter Wilds, I would imagine, and whatever's going to be happening with Resident Evil, but that's neither here nor there. And for the other smaller announcements that were out there, like Virtua Fighter coming back, bro, it's definitely prime time, because Tekken 8 was one of the drive-by award winners, like fighting game. I think that was the first award handed out, fighting game of the year, and it was like, Tekken 8, here you go. They got a big announcement that its final character, or its big guest character, was going to be Clive from Final Fantasy 16. Like, that's huge, because Tekken 7, its final guest character, or one of its biggest guest characters, was Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. And the behind-the-scenes sales data on that one, he blew everybody else out of the water on that one. So, yeah, good move on that one. Like, Tekken still being based as hell, and it being the only real substantive 3D fighter, it's prime, especially with the 30th anniversary for Virtua Fighter. For it to come back, great decision on that one. And Sega, yeah, they weren't done at all, because they're also bringing back, for my money, the best non-Mario Kart kart racer. Another Sonic kart game, because if you want something a little bit on the slide, especially if you're looking for a cheap, fun game that you and family, or just if you're looking for a good racing game, Sonic All-Stars Transformed, that is a fantastic game that you can get definitely on the cheap right now, and it's fun as hell. But they're running that back with another one, piggybacking off of the expected success of Edgy the Hedgy 3 coming out, because that's the way that they sold it at the beginning of the trailer, was Shadow's car and him walking up to it, and it's like, all right, we already know what we're going to be in for that one. And it's been about 10 years since they released one there. So I like that quite a bit. There's a Ninja Gaiden. There were a couple of Metroidvania-looking games that were there that were looking awfully good. The whole edgy Pac-Man thing playing off of the secret level insanity that I heard Mahler describe. And it's like the existential Pac-Man that just goes absolutely nihilistic and odd. And it's like, what the hell? Like, that sounded absolutely terrible. But as a game, I mean, as a Metroidvania, could be a lot of fun. Oh, and an Elden Ring co-op standalone, which is probably going to be huge, and that's coming out next year. But yeah, man, a lot of announcements were there. A lot of them were good. And outside of Witcher 4 and whatever the hell this disaster area is going to be from Naughty Dog, another one that's going to have absolutely nobody playing on Steam, and Neil Cuckman going, it's just a bunch of sexist, bigoted gamers. And it's like, yeah, okay, bro, we'll be over here playing your competition. We'll be out here playing, Monster Hunter Wilds. We'll be out here playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC. Yo, I mean, within like the first 20 minutes they made this announcement, and I already was like, this is going to be better than every other game show we're going to see towards the end of the year, where it's done, it's dusted, and the fact that it's coming to both Steam and the Epic Store, it's not being exclusive like Remake was. I mean, it says that, save 30% when pre-orders come available later today. It's later today. Hell, at the time that I'm recording this is just about midnight my time, so that means it's midnight past midnight out there on the East Coast. I was like, as soon as it becomes available for pre-order, I'm pre-ordering it because it finally happened. It's coming out January 23rd, so that means people are actually going to have the ability to play the best game of the year, hands down, that ended up winning Best Music, which, I mean, yeah, if it didn't win Best Music, I mean, you should probably close up shop, bro. But, oh my god, just mods and more costumes, more weapons. Unlocking Sephiroth and Zack to play in a full party. Oh my god, I'm so excited. But yeah, man, just running down the rest of the winners, and it's like, it was really not that bad. It really wasn't that bad. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII went 1 for 7, which, yeah, no, I'm not mad at that at all. No, no, it didn't deserve Best Direction, okay? But the fact that Brianna White's Aerith ended up getting nominated over, like Baron's Tifa, Barrett, or anything like that. No. You kind of set yourself up for failure on that one. But Black Myth Wukong, yeah, winning Best Action Game. Very much deserve it on that one. But yeah, Metaphor Fantasio being the go-to when it came to RPGs, getting nominated and winning. I mean, yeah, good for that one. I'll have to eventually check that out, because that's one of those, at least the way that I've seen it, it's one of those Persona-likes without so much of the anime crap. So it's like, maybe it's a little bit more approachable. But all in all, the cringe was fairly well segmented. It was kept to, the bumbling Harrison Ford getting a couple of the, hey, Hollywood, please take us seriously, not realizing that, you're a bigger industry than they ever were, and especially are at this point. You had Ella Purnell, Todd Howard, and somebody else come out and accept the award for Best Adaptation, but it's like, they made this big announcement that Ella Purnell, because, she was both in Arcane Season 2 and in Fallout, so she's going to be here, and she's going to be doing something, I guess, and that's a big deal for us. That's the way that the Game Awards was trying to spin this. It's like, hey, we got credibility because we got an actress that was in 2 really dog shit shows, so she's going to be showing up. It's going to be great, and of course, Fallout won, so, which is sad in and of itself, but Arcane Season 2 got beat by a show that nobody's talking about anymore. Very interesting. But yeah, Game of the Year, Astrobot, Best Game Direction, Astrobot. It's like, it's a 3D platformer. You're telling me that that's better direction than Naoki Hamaguchi, who at least had the opportunity to get up on stage. He accepted the Best Music Award, but still, he was the Best Director. Best Narrative for, Metaphor Fantasio, which I talked about. I'm pretty sure that video's already been released. It's like Final Fantasy VII got nominated for that, and I said, if they were gonna lose out on any award, that would be one that, and also Best Performance. It's like, I could understand, because when it came to the narrative, when it came to the story that Rebirth was telling, it didn't really, the plot didn't really kick in until about 2/3 of the way through the game. I love it. I think that it's fantastic, and the characters definitely more than carry the game until the plot really gets going. But yeah, I would imagine something a little bit more consistent was probably ReFantasio. But yeah, they also won Art Direction and Senua's Saga. I mean, a game that I've seen multiple people play and give up on. And Best Audio Design and Best Performance. It's like, well, I guess when the game's all centered around one chick, I guess it kind of makes sense. And the fact that, you nominated it the weakest voiced actors. I'm not saying that, Brianna White was terrible or she was bad. It's just everybody else was so much better. But obviously, I think the funniest award handed out, Games for Impact, oh man, Sweet Baby Inc. even missed out on their own speciality with the Neva. Innovation and accessibility. The game having the best menus. I find this to be completely hilarious, because Star Wars Outlaws and Dragon Age the Veilguard, the only award that it was nominated for, missed out to a game that had its studio laid off in the aftermath of its release. Hilarious. So what I seen, in closing, the Game Awards is actually pretty decent, all things considered, and I'm sure in the next couple of days we'll have some more cringe come out, and as excited as I am for a multitude of games, which is very strange to think about at this point in time, I'm sure we'll start to hear from more developers that'll just end up tanking their game, but maybe, and especially with the signs that we're seeing, perhaps we're finally getting out of the dark ages, and perhaps we're entering a point in time where gaming is actually going to be able to turn the corner, and we're actually going to be able to make gaming great again. But a boy can hope. It's Christmas, okay? Let's put a little cheer out there for the world. And also, all I have to do is just wait another month in order to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC. I'm so fucking happy about that. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.